Greetings and salutations and welcome once again to the Capeless Crusaders live at the time from the safe house. My name is David Barry at Dr. Barry. I'm not used to the way this is laid out right now. On varying social media platforms, we are the Two Crew Show. I was going to say two Crew Shoe like I did last time, and then I was going to have two pairs of shoes, and then I thought that was way too much work for a lame shtick. No, it already smells bad enough with mine, so don't worry about it. Hey, Ruru, welcome. So, I am joined this evening by none other than...
Me. It's Amy. You can find me at IJNewRobot on various social media. I am here as the Uwo to the duo. I don't know how we're going to...
Uwo.
Because
I'm the D.
I didn't mean it
as
that
in
way.
David?
As in David? Yeah, I meant it as David, so that worked. Yeah. I'm the Uwo to the duo. So,
Uwo to the duo.
Uwo to the duo,
That's
which means everybody else that sits by you... It's just you and them.
They are the Uwo.
They are the Uwo to the duo.
Well, we got the one. Oh, hello, everyone. So, just real fast, just so you're aware, we are your number one, allegedly, podcast for anything comic book related. Everything, anything, and everything, supposedly, depending on who you're talking to. So, if you are looking for anything related to the Capeless Crusaders, like our previous episodes, or maybe you want to go back and watch our D&D stream, we just had one. They're getting phenomenal because Amy drinks, and not in like a like you have to do it to be fun, but in like a it helps.
My character doesn't know your character, and I like that you're like, I was afraid you were going to tip over and not be able to stand up, and I wasn't drunk.
Yeah, but you can go to thecapelesscrusaders.com to find anything related to that. You can find our social media, all that. You can also find our sponsors, which are all hovering above my head, like Beard Balm Brush. I literally used mine minutes before we got on to the screen, and I'm feeling good. A Beard Balm Brush, they take beeswax, they take beard balm and beard oil, they combine it into a Koopa shell that you can throw like a blue shell at the face
of your enemies.
Of your enemies / yourself, because you're number one.
You are number one.
And the blue hits you, and then...
It also helps that I was fitted this weekend for my beard, that I might adequately come and support our sponsors.
But do you want to use your Beard Balm Brush on that beard?
Part of it I kind of do. I want to see how it'll style it. Because the wax will help maintain.
Turn into two massive things.
I don't know. You got to get your Hagrid on anyway.
Yes, I do. Halloween, here we go. It's going to be more expensive than I thought it was going to be.
Because this is October. No one can see. You can't see, I'm sorry.
I was about to say, if you're on the audio, it's August. Anyway,
it's the 25th anniversary of that, by the way.
Yeah, interesting.
And Hocus Pocus as well.
Cool.
This is why Steve's would love me. And he'd love my nails. But he's not here, bro.
Our other sponsors, Empire's Comics Vault, our home away from home. They had a fantastic Creative Women mini-con this past weekend. They also have hot sauce. They have pugs. And
comic books.
And that's, comic books, which according to Ruru are made out of dead trees.
On some occasions.
Yes, some of them are made out of Tyvek, which is not a dead tree. It is, in fact, what they use to wrap houses when they're doing construction, and they're also spraying for bugs. So
longevity.
You'll learn something new. My wallet is also made out of Tyvek.
Just food for thought.
Yeah, I'm losing it.
You're also here with me, and our last puppy.
Computer Booter, local computer repair, retro video game lounge. They do now have a Switch in their game lounge, so you can go in, you can play the Switch, you can do the PlayStation VR, you can get some classic. They've redone their handheld wall, which is where they've got all their Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. They got all kinds of stuff.
I can go get new games for my Game Boy Color.
I mean, new.
Well,
new to you.
They're new to me.
Yes.
I mean, I only have Pokemon Blue.
Nice. Oh, I don't think I mentioned, by the way, if you use the code Capeless on Beard Balm Brush, you get 15% off. You can also go to thecriticaldice.com, get yourself some dice like these, my Schwamp Thing dice.
Schwamp.
They're very green and sparkly. Wow, that light just blows it up. You can get 15% off there if you use the code Capeless as well. So, okay.
And they're down. Yay! This is going to be one of those times where we don't know how to deal with ourselves today.
What did I roll?
Wait, what did you roll?
I rolled a 17. It's not too bad.
You didn't do that natural one. So proud of you. So proud of you. So you.
I don't need to clean up the dice right now, but I am. So hang on, let me pull up the show notes because
You were
I've
lost.
completely
Fumble,
lost
fumble.
myself.
There goes the fumble. Right?
Yeah, I never had a
exactly.
football.
Hello, chat.
Oh, hey!
Good to see you
if
guys.
you are on Twitch right now, hello, welcome. Lovely to see you.
Welcome into the chat.
Thank you for hanging out. If you are watching this after the fact on YouTube, hello from the past. It is October 1st.
When we were.
And then if you're listening to this on the audio, I don't know what that was. That's all I had.
You're losing it.
I'm losing my brain hard. So, on this week's episode, that's what it is. We do the rundown. We are, of course, going to go around the horn. We're going to talk about what comic books we've been reading this week. We're also going to talk about some news. We got a bunch of it, and it's interesting. And then, our main topic for the week.
You want me to spell it?
Yes, thank you.
So, Venom.
I'm going to learn sign language eventually. Venom 101, a.k.a. the symbiote, a.k.a. the lethal protector, a.k.a. the black alien costume.
A.k.a. Moist Man.
Moist. A.k.a. Tom Hardy. We're going to be talking about Venom 101 leading up into the movie coming out this week. And then we'll be talking about it next week. The movie. Yes, we will be doing that.
We will get all a party. We'll see if it's a hardy party.
Hardy party. So, when we are in the safe house, when we are surrounded by the comics, the dice, got some Iron Men.
Iron Man inside of Iron Man.
My pops that I unfortunately left in the window, and so the back of the boxes kind of got faded. It made me really sad.
Oh, your Schwings?
Yeah, on the backs. Just the backs. The fronts are still okay, but it makes me sad.
I really want to share. I really want to share
figures
with these guys so that they understand that when I got this for you, you told me what it smelled like. This is the scented flocked Swamp Thing.
Don't do scented
anything.
Swamp Thing. Don't do scented anything.
I just want to open it again.
Oh god, I don't want to barf tonight. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, so when we're surrounded by all those things, when we're sad, when we're no, I don't mind the smell of the swamp. That smells weird.
It's a turd in the wind. Sorry, when we're in here.
Of a film, not that.
No, but it could be a turd in the wind. The way you talked about it. Hi, Squigs. Sorry, so when we're surrounded by all these things, and I keep bridge you up.
No, I keep screwing myself up. We like to go around the horn. Oh, shut up, Manderson, that moonshine. Where that moonshine at and that bow staff?
They're asking queries about your shirt. All we are is turds in the wind. Squiggles said "Turd in the Wind" is such an inspirational
30
song.
Inches,
and I went with Dust in the Wind.
Just like the movie? Is that...
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about these pythons? Is that what we're talking about? Anyway. Get the blue one, because I like the baby blue. So, when we go around the horn, we go around the table in a circular fashion, except for the fact that we no longer have a circular table. It is not a thing. But the thing that we do is we talk about comic books. What comic books we have been reading. So, I have 3. 3. Stop. All we are is turds in the wind.
You said
Scorpions.
do.
Yeah. No, we do. Okay.
You said we do.
There's
I
too
was
many
trying.
poop jokes tonight. I have 3 this week. So, still reading, what do you call it? Swamp Thing. Still rereading Alan Moore's Swamp Thing just because...
Ooh, it's the season.
It is the season. And they have, I believe, are starting filming in the fall, which is technically now.
Now, it is fall. It is fall. It's October.
Starting.
I'll say it's fall.
Also reading V for Vendetta still. Got like halfway through. I'm loving it, and then I just stopped because I'm a stay-at-home dad right now, and that just got other stuff going on. And then, actually, 4 things. I apologize. Those are the 2 old things I was reading, and then I needed to catch up on some new stuff. So I caught up on the new run of Venom in preparation for tonight. I'm loving Venom right now. They've managed to not retcon, but basically be like, hey, here was this void of time where we don't know what was happening. Here's what was happening. And it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. And then I also read Doomsday Clock. Caught up on that. Manderson's in the chat. He and I both agree that it is starting to pick up steam, which, I mean, it's not hard to pick up steam when you take 6 months off, because then there's no steam at all. And Sergeant Squiggle says, make tables circular again. Yes, that is going to be my campaign platform. Make tables circular again. Amy, what have you been reading?
So, yeah. I actually did read something, I swear. I started rereading Sunstone, which is a very mature and adult book. But I like the guy that does the art on it. And
love it.
And he's been picked up for something, like a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of DC right now.
Yeah, he's doing DC. That's what it is.
He was the 2nd or 3rd artist on Rat Queens. He
was the 2nd. You're right.
And he had to give it up because of health issues. He's...
I can never pronounce his name, but it's like spelled S.
It's like Steven Sejic. Like if you like don't pronounce it all European, but it's like Stepan Sejic. Where's he from? Where was that siege? That siege in the 90s. There's a
The one that Wag the Dog was based off of?
Mate, what?
That's a movie. Sorry.
Oh no. It had the siege. That also has the song about it, done by Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, chat.
I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm trying to remember.
Get down on it.
It was like there was a genocide and a siege in the 90s. Anyway.
I was like, not Rwanda?
No.
Yeah.
No, Europe. Carry on, Sunstone.
So I like that book. And it's very mature. So I'll leave you guys to your imagination and the Googlies if you're interested in doing that. I also, Ruru doesn't know what we're talking about. That's my boo. There you go, Ruru. And then I also
Croatia. He's Croatian.
Okay, there we go. So Croatia and Croatian. Where's the Steves when you need them? I know, dude. I know. And then also, I went and because I had the extreme pleasure of meeting, oh my gosh, I can totally her name, I can't pronounce it. It's Mar. No, Mariko.
I want to say Mariko because I keep thinking of.
Mariko Tamaki.
Tamaki.
Tamaki. I'm sorry, I watch a lot of anime.
I don't.
And so she is fantastic. She's currently writing X-23. She wrote the She-Hulk run that I just went about so much. She also wrote the graphic novelizations of, some of the graphic novelizations, I love how I said that, of Lumberjanes.
Oh, yeah.
Which the third one is coming out on October 30th. And each of the books in talking to her is focusing on a different Lumberjane. If you haven't been reading Lumberjanes, you guys, you have a lot of time to catch up on this, okay? It's a great book. Great book. Started by Noelle Stevenson. It's been handed off for a couple of hands. It's all ages.
Wonderful.
Attack Force got you with Croatia.
Didn't they win something in the Olympics?
So, Lumberjanes. Solid. The other thing I'm really excited about, and I forgot to bring it for you, she gave me her DC Ink sampler. So DC Ink is all YA books coming out. I will bring it. It's fantastic.
Good, thank you.
It's coming out of the stream, and right now the first four books are all aimed at females. Cool. So we've got Mira, we've got Catwoman, we've got we've got Raven, and then she's writing the Harley Quinn. And firstly, it is gorgeous to look at, but secondly, she's created this this entire, not mythos, but she's taken it from, she's not just Harley Quinn attached to the Joker. She was always on her way to being Harley Quinn when she was Harleen.
Okay.
Harleen Quinzel, and she lives with drag queens, and that was what is inspired her aesthetic. And she meets Ivy, and her Ivy is gorgeous. And she's a mind you, this is high school, like middle school, high school.
Yeah.
Harley meeting high school Ivy, who is like a grassroots activist.
Get it.
And it's fantastic, and I'm super excited. And so she gave me her last one, and I'm dying.
I'll have to check it out.
Claymore, isn't that the one that got actually turned into the anime? That was like the exploding one, wasn't it?
I'm down to check it out. Also, Attack 4 is just throwing out keywords now.
Yeah,
Croatia. And the runner-up of the World Cup. Thanks, Manderson. Appreciate it.
So
anyway.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading, and I continue to read lots of things because I like things.
Comic books.
It's also like. It's also, so it is the 25th anniversary of Nightmare Before Christmas, which means that they have been pushing out Tokyo Pop.
Anyway.
We need to watch that. They've been pushing out, Tokyo Pop has been pushing out collections of their manga, which are beautiful and look just like the original animation. So that's a really great read. And then, of course, it's the 25th anniversary, which I don't believe it is the 25th, but apparently it is, for Hocus Pocus. So I'm waiting to see what Disney sneaks out in comic book form for that.
I love Hocus Pocus. It is next to Sex and the City, by far Sarah Jessica Parker's greatest role. Bette Midler?
Yes.
Bette Midler? Phenomenal.
Kathy, I can never pronounce the last name, but she was the sister in Sister Act.
Oh, duh. Yeah, awesome. Anyway, man, I'm just all over the place.
I know, I'm sorry, dude. You know what? Since I keep hand-fisting things, to do this, and I'm really terrible, I think I need some news. Do we have something for news?
I have a button that I can push that will play an audio clip that sounds like...
It might be a news?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
FBI investigation of Never mind, I'm not gonna.
This just in, we're really, really lost and slightly confused, but it's been a long day and we're tired.
Yeah, it has been. I've been on an emotional roller coaster today, like good and then like...
Mildly okay?
Mildly okay, yeah. Just all over. I mean, that's not really all over. That's like...
No, it's like, fairly over.
It's like good to zero.
That 90s news jingle.
Yeah.
Make us a better one and we'll play it for you.
Yeah, Rue, get on that. So,
actually, seriously.
In the news this week, several things. I'm not going to start with that one because it's sad.
It's super sad.
But it's interesting. But what I found out today, the gag order has been lifted for Swamp Thing Halloween Special 2018, drawn by none other than my boy, Greg C, aka Greg Capullo, aka the greatest Spawn artist of all time.
What happened to... Oh, no, that wasn't Capullo that did the...
Capullo.
The one that I got you from Emerald City. Who was that?
No, that was Mitch Gerads. That was from Batman.
I like that one.
No, he's awesome. But I really like it. The only problem is it's an exclusive being sold at Walmart. So on average, no, not on average, for the most part, I boycott Walmart. I get why DC is selling the books at Walmart. It's to reach a larger audience.
They're also 100 pages for like $3.
Yeah, and hopefully it drives people to go to comic book stores, give access to kids who wouldn't have access to comic book stores otherwise. I get it, but I don't want to support Walmart. But if someone could buy that for me, that'd be great.
I got you.
Thank you. So, in other news...
Not that news.
I just burped. The DCU... is dead. Long live the DCU. So it was not really announced, but it was basically kind of
implied, aggressively.
Yeah, hinted at that Warner Brothers and DC are basically going to be focusing on standalone films. Now, there will still be the timeline and stories created up to this point by Justice League. Manderson's guy. Everyone wants to earn my love and attention. Give me two.
I'm sorry, who reminded you about those Monsters in Love cover with Swamp Thing macking on
Lady Frankenstein?
Yeah,
I have that. I love it.
You're
because
welcome.
of you. I appreciate it.
Because of me.
DCU's dead. Kelly Clarkson is gone. Already positive reactions in the chat. Rude. WB moving six of garbage. Yes. Sergeant Squiggles. DCU is dead. I'm so sad. Said no one ever.
So who's
accurate?
Does anybody remember who's in charge of the DCU currently?
I don't even know anymore. Who is it now? It's Jeff Johns. Yeah. Okay. So Jeff's.
No, it's Jim.
Oh yeah, no, Jim Lee.
It's Jim Lee.
Jim Lee stepped up. Jeff Johns has gone down because they want to make
some Japanese guy. Exactly, Ruru. You got it. It's Jim Lee.
Because they want him to. They want Jeff Johns to actually make. He's doing the Green Lantern movie.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they saw the success of Wonder Woman and that it was. I mean, it tied in, but it was also standalone.
Well, also 84, by the way. 84, and mind you, I'm gonna plug this 84. What I saw, the little tiny snippets. They'd been shooting for 2 weeks, and straight up, Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, depends on how you. They brought it to Comic-Con, and it was literally like this 45-second little snippet. It felt like the 80s. It felt like a Wonder Woman. It didn't. Oh, it was so good, you guys.
So I'm looking forward to this.
I'm so freaking excited.
I think it makes sense what they're going to do. It basically allows them to have a little more freedom, but it also then leads into some...
If they decide to cross over, they can.
Yeah, they can, but they don't have a specific timeline. They're not... they're basically not following the Marvel plan, which is good because they were terrible at the Marvel plan. Marvel's good at the Marvel plan. DC needs to do something else, and they're going to. Which, speaking of which, leads into our next point, the first looks at the Joker. We've got, in the last couple weeks, we got the first images of Joaquin Phoenix in the classic outfit with the makeup, the green hair. We also saw some set footage filmed in the subway on a phone. People have mixed feelings about it. I don't know why that blocked that. There we go. People, like I said, mixed feelings, because some people you can't have a Joker without a Batman, which we'll talk about that in an episode we have coming up, which is basically can heroes exist without villains, can villains exist without heroes. Honestly, I loved his expressions, so for me, I'm definitely willing to give it a chance. I'm not the makeup to me was not oh god, it doesn't look like the classic. No, I'm down to see what they do.
Well, I like that they did a callback. I was very initially on the fence. No offense to Joaquin. I know he is a fantastic actor, and he continues to surprise me, and I appreciate that. It's seeing him with the Caesar makeup.
Yeah.
That struck a really good chord for me, and so it made me a little more excited to see what happens. But again, I am more excited about the standalone Joker movie than I am about
Everything else?
Venom.
Except, oh, yeah, well... Yeah.
Also, I totally agree with Squiggles.
What do you say? Problem with WBDC, they don't know how to make compelling characters. They use awesome superpowers as a crutch. Just making eye candy does not make a movie good, which is part of the reason why I think Joker might be solid, because they're relying heavily on Joaquin Phoenix's acting abilities, the people who are invented in it, and Ruru said my only demand is they need to have a Mark Hamill cameo, which I think would be great. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
I think it would make sense.
Even if it was just for like a few minutes, or he... Oh my gosh.
Even if he just walked by.
If he walked by, or he
something.
goes, hey, or he's in the audience and he laughs. Oh, I just want to, just a little bit. I'm okay with that. So after that.
Speaking of trailers.
I didn't see it, this one, so
Don't worry about it.
Don't?
We got the Dark Phoenix trailer. X-Men Dark Phoenix is, I assume, going to be the last X-Men film before Fox hands over the reins to Marvel Studios.
Before Papa Mouse comes in and goes,
before Papa Mouse says,
all for mine, all for me,
and corrects all the things.
Children, into my arms. That's creepy. I know, right? It made it creepy on purpose.
I've been learning a lot about
my abilities to make noise.
No, about satanic rituals in the government and media, and that sounds like the mouse is doing it. So the Dark Phoenix trailer, it was terrible. The costumes, while very comic accurate, did not transfer well to the big screen. Storm has an umbrella at a funeral in the rain. What? Which everyone's like, why would she have an umbrella? A little thing, like I didn't notice it, but then someone said it, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
So then I've saved myself from more heartache.
No, it doesn't look good. Honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not that the movies they were doing were that bad. Apocalypse was pretty bad. Before that, they were doing well, but now it's just kind of like, now that we know they're going over to Disney, everyone's just kind of like, oh, you're still gonna
try
do this? Okay. I guess.
I appreciate you trying, but I don't want to see you trying.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I don't really care.
So apparently, thank you, Ruru. If it was a hot mess, I've saved myself from the heartbreak of cleanup.
Yeah, you can watch it. It's fine. It's whatever. In other news, just in time for Halloween, Netflix has ordered October Faction to series. October Faction is from IDW. Steves would love it. It's a horror-based... they're a family of monster hunters. Really dark.
Is it supernatural?
Yes, it is supernatural, but not Supernatural, the show.
I was double checking because they're a family of monster hunters.
That's true. It's done by Stephen Niles, who did a lot of work with Bernie Wrightson and Len Wein.
Ooh.
The Frankenstein Alive, all those 30 Days of Night. So a lot of good horror chops behind it, so it's going to be really good. And then lastly, just because I love that we keep talking about them, Comicsgate is in the news again, because Richard Meyer, a.k.a. Diversity in Comics, the figurehead and mouthpiece of the Comicsgate movement.
You mean the garbage can?
Yeah, he's suing Mark Waid. Yeah, Mark Waid, and so Mark Waid's lawyer is, needless to say, their pedigree is
impeccable.
Intense. Yeah, so that's gonna be funny. We're gonna see what happens.
I can't wait till it gets all released, and then I just get to read the documentation.
Yeah, I'd be like, so what'd you say about all these people? So, on to our main topic for the evening.
We talking about. Not Moist Man.
Venom. We are talking about Venom 101, and this, again, in our 101 series, we are basically giving you the basics of a character, where you can start, what you can read, the information about where they came from, and then just important facts about...
You could do with this, you could do with that.
So Venom is a very interesting character in that multiple iterations...
That's an understatement.
All over the place, just created all kinds of stuff. But to start out... I will do...
First appearance runs, please.
That, and then we will go... I'm going to have you do that. Those are fun. So...
If I remember everyone, because I remember the first three, I remember...
Some of them weren't...
I remember
They're not memorable.
I remember 3 up from the bottom, I remember him.
Yeah.
I kind of remember the last one, but I don't remember... the ones that are kind
a lot of them are
and also there's one technically that was more TV based than comic based. That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
So Venom did not start out as Venom. Venom, in fact, started as the black costume, the alien costume for Spider-Man.
3.
Yes. I mean, no.
Emo.
Yeah, emo Spider-Man.
It was emo Spider.
So, in Secret Wars number 8, which came out in the 80s, it was one of the first large major crossovers in Marvel Comics. It had all of these heroes, all of these villains that were all plucked from the planet by a creature known as the Beyonder. And he put them onto his battle world, which is basically a world that he had destroyed a bunch of galaxies and crushed them all together to create this perfect battlefield for all these heroes and villains. And in that...
Which seems to be returning consistently every couple of years. We get more battle worlds.
Yes, so many battle worlds. Well, it's a nice way to get some what-ifs.
World. And it's the Elseworlds concept.
It's some cool ways to get some what-ifs out of it. And one of the what-ifs we got was Spider-Man, who encountered this black blob that became a new solid black costume for him.
And he looks smooth.
Great. Originally meant to just be a new costume. It had no other purposes. It was just, we're going to have a black costume for a little while, and then we're going to go back to his classic. Then they had some slightly other ideas, and as the story goes, the editor... I'm blanking on his name. The editor, a fan actually wrote in with a suggestion. What if the suit
$200 just
like,
over $200,
yeah, like $220 something.
It was like $220.
It was nothing.
It was piddly. Piddly, bro.
But they paid the fan for his idea, and then they created a multi-million-dollar character. So the first appearance as the alien costume was actually the Amazing Spider-Man number 252, and then we did not actually meet Venom until the Amazing Spider-Man number 299, which is just a cameo, and the cameo was just a black arm that kept popping out and messing with Spider-Man.
And we will get him very soon.
Yes.
And then he ended up being on the last page of issue number 300 of The Amazing Spider-Man.
Full appearance.
He was the giant back panel.
We got our friend Eddie Brock, a.k.a. Venom. So originally, the alien costume was created by Randy Schueller, Roger Stern, Tim DeFalco, Mike Zeck, and Ron Frenz. These are the guys. One of those is the fan who wrote in. The rest of them are the creative team who drew it and the editor. And then Venom himself as Eddie Brock, as the alien symbiote.
Symbiote. We will have that fight later.
Symbiote.
There's so many.
Was created by David Michelini and my boy, the Todd Father, founder of Image Comics, creator of Spawn, Todd McFarlane. He was actually the original artist on Venom.
Which is really cute when you see old pictures of him drawing, like, super cheesy over the top of him, like, sketching Venom. It's really cute.
I love it. So, Amy.
Yay.
Venom has had some alter egos.
Just a few.
To name a few.
That are mostly comic-based.
Run down this list for me, and then shout out ones you don't know, and I probably don't know them either.
Okay. So, of course, Peter Parker.
The boy.
Which was the wee baby boy.
Spider-Man.
It's a shout out to that really entertaining version of him in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire.
No, don't shout out that out.
I appreciated that it actually followed some of the lines that went with the comic book towards the end. Of course, we have Eddie Brock, who is your current friend.
Like original Venom, and then current, and then in between.
In between.
He was the anti-Venom.
He was the anti-Venom. Mm-hmm. He became the anti-Venom because somebody else picked up Venom and became Agent Venom.
Yeah, and then Venom was in his bloodstream.
That was Flash Thompson.
Antigens.
Yeah,
he's
Flash
on that list.
Thompson is Agent Venom. That's at a different point when
that's on that.
Venom is. Yes, Topher Grace is Eddie Brock. Exactly.
No, don't stop it.
I'm going to encourage the chat because they're hilarious and the laughing face is great. So Eddie Brock, anti-Venom, Venom keeps going. And is it Wang or Wang?
I don't know. Wang. She was supposed to be like
she's Lady Venom. She was Lady
but
Venom.
That didn't last very long.
No, and she was small. It was basically because Eddie Brock gave her an opportunity to meet the symbiote, and he took a liking to her, and I don't know. That's how that went. It sounded really creepy.
He's basically like, hey, you wanna meet my symbiote?
And to preface that in the chat, Carnage is the offspring of Venom. From birth forth from the muck comes another. And we're not going to talk about him and his shenanigans with the whatever he is, the backwater serial killer.
Cletus Cassidy.
There it goes. Then we've got Patricia Robertson.
Yeah, another not...
I
feel like these are probably they're gonna pop up in the movie as like randos who work for the company, and then they're probably.
I know Anne's in the movie.
Yeah.
Angelo Fortunato.
Yeah, another not very long, not really. The next ones are the ones that are the important ones.
Mac Gargan,
I believe it's one of those names that you see it in the comics and then you just never hear it actually pronounced. But that was the Scorpion. He was the Scorpion.
That's right. He was a Scorpion prior, and
then he got the suit, and it would when it was healing, he would put Scorpion armor on. And that was actually that allowed him.
He was before Flash.
Yes, because he was the Dark Reign Spider-Man, which we'll get to.
Yep. Then we've got Flash Thompson, of course, which I brought up, which was Agent Venom. Ha!
Thank you. I
No,
didn't want to hit
we are
that.
not talking about Bowsette in this chat, Squiggles. You redact that right now. You redact that.
I mean, Bowsette, a block term in our chat.
Because then they're just going to talk about Bloopette, and I'm always a fan of Yoshi, S-H-E, instead of just Yoshi, S-H-I. Anyway.
The weird sub-community.
I know.
Flash Thompson, he was the high school bully of Peter Parker.
He's the one that we see in
But
Homecoming.
he loved Spider-Man. Yeah.
Which made me laugh even more, because seeing him in that and going, you become Venom.
Yeah.
And it was the weirdest and best moment that I had when I saw him. I'm like, okay, I'd like to see this guy get buff
I'd be
and
all
become
about that.
like
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace all day. Lee Price.
So Lee Price was the run after Flash Thompson where they never explained why Flash lost him. They still haven't explained it. But suddenly Venom is just out on its own trying to look for a host, and it finds Lee Price, who's a criminal, working under Black Cat.
That Black Cat?
Yeah, that Black Cat. And then they get to be... So he gets to go back to kind of being a classic villain for a little while, until Eddie Brock, who's currently Venom again, picks it back up.
And then Telcar.
Telcar is... That just happened. Telcar is a Kree soldier who is the first host.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, not sure how I feel about it, but he's the first host, quote unquote, of the Venom symbiote that goes on to Spider-Man. Spider-Man was always seen as the first host.
But he's not the first host.
Nope, now they've retold the story.
And then it's also, we're missing a host that I like that came from the movies. Or from the cartoon, anyway.
What's his name?
John Jameson.
John Jameson,
Lieutenant
aka
John Jameson.
He was just like a punching bag on the Spider-Man
know,
cartoon. He got
know.
attacked by...
We're not talking about Deadpool, Manderson.
No, not a host.
Not
That's
a
a
host.
what if. Get out of here. Anyway, so technically the species that was more recently established, because originally everyone was like, it's a symbiote, it's
No.
a thing.
Yeah,
No, is a Clintar. It is Klyntar.
It sounds like it should be a big giant sword.
Yeah, they're basically, I mean, one of them is the Necrosword. They're basically, the Clintar is this entire race of symbiotic beings.
It's a giant planet of them.
Yeah, and a lot of them are relatively peaceful. They have these symbiotic relationships with what are called Space Knights, which we'll learn about later on, which is kind of a weird...
It was a weird way to intro
I really liked
but
it.
it's really good.
It was really good. It was just strange.
Not
So,
Doctor, just strange.
Amy, list the teams that he's been associated with.
Why isn't the Sinister... He was the Sinister 6, but he was also the Sinister 12, wasn't he?
Yeah, I didn't put that on there because it was stupid.
And look, I remembered. The Savage 6, because
Mm-hmm.
apparently if you get that alliteration, it's all for days. The Dark Avengers.
Right. That was Dark Reign.
Thunderbolts.
Yep.
I do remember that.
He was on the Thunderbolts twice.
Okay, so do.
Yeah.
Secret Avengers, I remember that.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, that's a new one.
That was the Space Knight.
New Warriors.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And then S.H.I.E.L.D., of
Yeah,
course.
of course. He was associated with S.H.I.E.L.D. when he was Flash. So the thing about the teams is normally when we do 101s, we do like allies and then adversaries. Basically, his teams, those were his allies, and they were also simultaneously his adversaries. Like, he basically, everyone he's ever teamed up with, he's also faced off with. He has a similar rogues gallery. He's in Spider-Man's rogues gallery, but his rogues gallery is also Spider-Man's rogues gallery.
So basically he was Stalin.
Yeah. Russian. Why is Stalin? Okay, that was weird.
Croatian.
Yeah, Croatian. There we go. So, abilities. Now, powers and abilities, this
gets iffy.
This is the fact that calls into question whether or not the movie can actually happen. So originally, the first known host, which is no longer accurate, but the first known host being Spider-Man, he had all of the powers and abilities of Spider-Man. He could the relative strength, the climbing the walls, the webs, all that, the spider sense, all
He's
that.
goth Spider-Man.
He's goth Spider-Man.
He's a little bit angrier.
He's a little bit, you know.
He's got those modifications to his face.
He's Tobey Maguire. He's not happy that he's not Spider-Man
tossing
anymore.
his hair.
Not Tobey Maguire.
That dance.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Tobey
Who am I
Maguire.
thinking of? Anyway,
He's not Flash Thompson.
nope. He also has shape-shifting and camouflage, so he can blend in with environments. He can shape-shift, creating weapons, claws, daggers. We didn't really see those. We mainly saw tentacles from
A
Venom.
lot of tentacles.
Yeah, we did. But then Carnage is when we really started seeing blades, and that was because Cletus Cassidy
He a killer, bro.
was a serial killer, so he was like, oh, I want you to have blades on your fingers, so he's gonna have blades. Autonomous defense capabilities, which basically means while he's unconscious, the symbiote will still protect and fight for him. And then he's undetectable by spider sense, which is a big one, because that's actually the cameo why he kept attacking Spider-Man, so he was trying to fight Spider-Man, but he's also trying to improve Spider-Man. Like, he shoves him off a train track onto the subway onto the track, and he has to jump off as he's improving his spider sense. And then he also reached out and grabbed him through a window and pulled him in. And both those times, Peter Parker had no idea what had happened because he's invisible to undetectable by spider sense.
I like what Rue is calling out for that prediction. I totally agree. I mean, we've got Webmageddon going currently on in the books right now, but he is predicting
Miles Morales be a Venom host in the next 2 years. I'm down with that.
He will.
I thought it was going to happen actually in the latest run of Venom just because he popped up for a minute, but it has not yet. So
yet is the operative word.
We got another list. I'm going to do one, and then I want you to do the rest because they're
a lot.
So other symbiotes created from Venom. Now, some of these have been Eddie Brock. Some of these have been all these other characters. So the first one that needs a little bit of explanation is the anti-Venom, which we kind of explained earlier. Basically what it was is the Venom... Eddie Brock had been connected to the Venom for so long that his body actually created antibodies and actually made a whole suit of them, and he became anti-Venom. So the colors were inverted. So instead of black with white, he was white with black, and he basically was... he could kill other symbiotes.
Basically, he is the boogeyman.
So yeah, he was the Venom boogeyman, and that was mainly when the Venoms were like taking over the universe, and that's another whole thing. So
that's also an entire run where you can read where there's a Venom Squirrel Girl, there's a Venom Deadpool, there's a Venom X-23, there's so he killed John Wick's dog exactly.
No, I think that was Cletus Cassidy.
Technically, all of his offspring. So,
who else we got?
Venom. Well, Venom can produce and or spawn. They are asexual.
Yeah.
Yep. Every how many years? Is it a decade?
I don't even know.
There's a number.
For a little while, it seemed like they were sticking to that, and then they were kind of like,
no, like, you know what? Everyone.
Here's 5.
Babies everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
everywhere.
Sorry, we're parents and babies everywhere. So, first and foremost, of course, everybody knows Red Suit Carnage.
Yes.
Cletus Cassidy is a serial killer, and he gets all up in that and jackety jack stabby. Also, he was one of the creepier. When looking at the two of them, I would prefer Venom much more to Carnage just for pure looks, because creepity. Ugh. Then we've got Toxin.
Toxin was created by Carnage, I believe. He's the one that has he's like, the top of him is blue and the bottom of him is red. It was a one-shot, or it was a short story. It was a cop. I actually really liked it, and then they brought him back randomly in like what ifs and stuff like that.
So basically, this is the grandchild of Venom.
Yes, yeah, it's Venom's grandchild, and it was pretty cool. And then they just kind of stopped.
Okay, how about Scream?
So the next, I believe, Scream, Lasher, Phage, and Agony, I believe, are all the same groups. The same group. They are in different iterations. They are the government's symbiotes. They're
okay, so the ones that Agent Venom was actually being used for.
That was part of it. They were also the ones that he's fighting in Lethal Protector, which we'll talk about, which the movie's based on. So a lot of these characters might pop up in the movie. And then they were also in the Separation Anxiety, which is where Eddie Brock loses the symbiote and symbiote.
Does he still have cancer when he loses him?
Yes. Yeah, because the Venom kind of pulls like a Deadpool. It staves off the cancer, but then if you
because
lose
that's the reason he picked him anyway.
Yeah.
Because he got all buff from the cancer. He's like, I'm gonna get buff and beat this cancer.
So yeah, so they were all they were the green, yellow, all these different ones.
They're the government variation.
And were all these from the 90s when video games had alternate color for the same costumes. They did it for the comic book characters, kind of.
Yep.
Basically,
Riot?
You're on it. Riot is the one that we're going to see in the movie. He's the big bad one in the movie. I think that's the one that's going to be played by the CEO, who was the pilot in Rogue One. I can't remember the actor's name. He's awesome.
The one that we all liked in Rogue One?
Yes, the one. Yeah, he was the defector.
I liked him.
Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Anyway,
Dreadface.
Dreadface was just a random one. I've never actually read anything that Dreadface popped up in. It was in the research.
And the Necro Sword?
The Necro Sword is a cool one. So the Necro Sword popped up really in the God Thor, the God Slayer series a couple years ago, which is where he faced off with, can't remember his name, but he was the dude who was he was going around murdering all these pantheons, and Thor was chasing him across the galaxy. That's actually, he's the one who he said that basically the gods aren't worthy. and then the secret that made Thor no longer worthy.
The one that we're not supposed to know was written.
Yes. So what it was is Nick Fury said that guy. I'm blanking on his name, but he was right. Basically, that God Killer was right. The gods are not worthy.
Well, and he literally, like, straight up told the secret went in the ear, and there he was no longer.
And then he lost the hammer. So the Necrosword is basically like the original symbiote, who's created by Null, who we'll talk about in a little bit.
So you got Mania and Null, and this just sounds like basically sections of Greek mythology, and or somebody goes, do you know what sounds good today? Some agony.
Mania. Mania is just, again, another offshoot grandchild of Venom who he has to face off with. All the babies. And then Null is... he's,
as in null and void.
Yeah, he's the god of the symbiotes, actually. He's
Big Papa?
He's Big Papa.
Shut the front door.
He is... what's the one I'm looking for? He's in the current run. The current Marvel run featured him and introduced him. He's basically the king, the god of the symbiotes. He's the one that turned them evil. Okay. And he can see through all of their eyes and control them. And he created the Necrosword. It was his first weapon.
So he knows exactly what he told to Nick Fury.
Nick Fury said, "Your Marvel contract is up."
That's exactly what Null knows.
Yeah, and then he dropped the hammer. There you go.
And then he dropped the hammer. Boom, boom, boom.
So, important stories. So we've basically given you the rundown. He's had dozens of iterations, all these different abilities, all these different teams, all these different offspring. But the reason a lot of those popped up is these... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, like 12 stories that are a good spot. Some of them are good jumping on points. Mm-hmm. Some of them are good if you just want the basics. So we'll switch off back and forth. So the first one, the most important one, well, I mean...
It's the one that's the most quickly recognized.
Yeah, and it's the most, like, it's the origin. And that is Spider-Man Birth of Venom, which collects Secret Wars number 8, Amazing Spider-Man 252 through 259, 298 through 300, 315 to 317, Fantastic Four 274, and The Web of Spider-Man number 1. Seems like it's just all over the place, but that is the origin of the suit to the alien costume to Venom.
His first time out to play.
Yes, being a big bad guy. So if you want the introduction to Venom, you have no idea who he was, or you want to know where he came from, Spider-Man Birth of Venom is going to be a collected trade that you can go down to your local comic book store and you can pick it up. And I imagine if they're smart, they'd have a lot of them on hand right now because the movie.
It's running, I can tell you, we're running out over at Empire. So we're running out of things all the time.
And you should also be running out of this next one.
Yeah, Venom, Lethal Protector. It's number 1 through 6. It's also the foil covers, I have. This is the best part. I found red foil, nice. But it was signed by the colorist.
Oh, that's cool.
So I have it in my collection.
I gotta get it signed by Todd.
Oh, heck yes, dude. Get it signed by Todd.
So, Lethal Protector, this is what the movie's based on.
Part of it, yeah. There's 2 of them.
So, this is the one, it takes place in San Francisco, so that's why it's...
Well, it's Lethal Protector. It's, he's your homegrown Baytown hero.
Yeah, so again, this is why we're not sure if it really makes sense, because... Venom gets he copies the abilities of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So why does he, if Spider-Man does not show up in this movie, how are you going to explain why Venom exists? We'll find that out. That being said, Lethal Protector was a story where basically Venom became an anti-hero. Spider-Man told him, leave New York.
Get out of here, bro.
Get out of here. You take the bridge, go over to Queens.
You miss the Steves.
That's all I got, yeah.
Oh, man, he misses the Steves.
But he went to San Francisco and basically set up shop and was being an anti-hero. He was...
eating the bad guys' faces and
brains. And then all of a sudden, all these murders and crimes started happening, and they were being carried out by symbiotes. And Spider-Man came to San Francisco, tracked down Venom, and is like, yo... I told you to stop doing this. I told you to stop eating faces. And Venom's like, yo, bro, it's not me, bro. Bro, I listened to you, bro.
That's a lot of bro. You don't even have the t-shirt cut off so you can get the bro hug in.
Bro grabbed.
That's a lot of broing.
Oh God, I don't even know what that was. That was a disappointment cam. That's a disappointment. Exactly. So yeah, Lethal Protector 1 through 6. So that covers that story, which is the setting at least of the current film, where Venom is the anti-hero in San Francisco, and there are other symbiotic creatures.
Rumor of it. There's rumor of it because there are people from that list.
Rumor has it.
So Anne is slated currently to be Eddie's current girlfriend instead of being his ex-wife. So they've changed that. We don't know if she'll become Lady Venom because of this or how that dynamic will change. And then Oh, crud. Cletus.
Cletus Cassidy.
Is a cameo
He needs to be...
by Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, he needs to be the post-credit scene.
It
needs to be like just a drip of symbiote like dripping into his jail cell.
Well, so this is the thing that Woody Harrelson has snuck in. He said that he has a smaller part, but he's basically setting him up for the next one.
Good.
So that's what they're saying.
And Ruru mentioned something, yes. They can do a line that said, I was with Spider-Man before he was captured by Riz Ahmed. Riz Ahmed, that's who it is. Then they can do a Spider-Man 3 as a Venom origin story that takes place years before the movie. Totally. It's the fact that the problem is the producers and directors went back and forth saying it is, it isn't, it is, it isn't. So at this point, they've said that it's not related to Spider-Man at all, which if we believe them, which you can never believe them at this point.
You can never believe anybody out of Sony, because let's look at the good things they made and then the bad things they made.
So let's see. So good things. And then we're on the scale. Go ahead and drop the bad things on that one for me. Okay, there we go. So it's what up, Antiquire? So yeah, it's a little
here, a little there, a little bit of everywhere. And that's the same thing. I also like to point out that can you see how far we have come from having?
You dig it?
Show me what you've got. Anyway, we went from Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man to everything that's come out since. Like, the plethora of it and the magnitude of the stories that we were getting. Whoever thought we were going to get a Venom movie? I mean, come on. Take a look at that Spawn, that you're getting another Spawn movie, man.
Take a look at me now. With the creator of Venom. Well, one of the creators of Venom as a symbiote, not the original creator, though technically he didn't actually create him. Anyway.
But I just like to say that this is it's a fantastic and terrible time to be a comic book person, because you know what else? We got some amazing people that are writing these books.
Like who?
Like Rick Remender.
Rick Remender. Venom by Rick Remender. It was just another volume that you can check out.
We like Rick Remender.
Rick Remender's awesome.
We like Rick Remender.
I didn't write anything about this particular series because I was like, oh yeah, I remember this one, and now I'm blanking on it. But Rick Remender's just great. Everything he does, everything he touches turns to gold. The next one,
that's a massive.
This one is near and dear to my heart, because this one was the hardest video game
ever to
that I ever played, that I never did. I even got it recently, and I'm like, nah, I'm an adult. I'll be able to beat it.
We couldn't even beat TMNT when we were in here.
Hey, I did okay on that one. I got further than I got on this one. Of course, I'm talking about Maximum Carnage.
I'm just staring to see if you have it on the shelf. I don't think you do.
I do not know. I have it. I have singles in a box. I do not have anyone. Yes, Hello Kitty Island Adventure starring Cletus Cassidy. That would be awesome. I'd play that. So Maximum Carnage is the story that basically showed Spider-Man and Venom having to team up.
Apparently,
they were teen moms.
They were teen moms.
Venom is a teen mom, basically. And they had to go after his
child.
Illegitimate child, a.k.a. Cletus Cassidy Carnage. So Maximum
AKA
Carnage.
Woody Harrelson.
A.k.a. Woody Harrelson. Cut, take two, a.k.a. Woody Harrelson. So, Maximum Carnage, again, if you buy the collected volume,
you want to.
You can go down to Empire's Comics Vault.
Located at 1120 Fulton Avenue, Suite K, in the heart of Sacramento.
Go to, if you're downtown, you can go to Oblivion Comics and Coffee. Or Big Brother, who I went to their new location. It's around the corner from Tank House. So you can get these amazing giant ribs, and then you go over to Big.
Shush.
Yeah.
Can I get Dirty Tots?
Yeah.
Please tell me.
And then you can go over there.
Oh my gosh, I know where I'm going on.
You can go to A1 Comics. They have 3 locations in the Sacramento area.
They do. You can go to
Broadway Comics closed.
World's Best.
That's
right down the street from Empire's.
Comic Command Center.
That's over. Who's the guys over in Lodi? Oh, Steve, you're not here.
Grapevine. The Grapevine? And I'm liking. There's lots of comic book stores. Comics and collectibles.
Go support your local comic book store.
And when you go to them, ask for Maximum Carnage, which is going to include Amazing Spider-Man number 378 to 380.
That's a big one.
Spectacular Spider-Man number 201 to 203. This is back when there was a dozen Spider-Man comics, which there are a bunch right now, but this is when...
At least this is a little easier to navigate than Deadpool right now, because Deadpool's in the same boat.
Spectacular Spider-Man 201 through 203, Spider-Man number 35 through 37, Spider-Man Unlimited number 1 and 2, and Web of Spider-Man number 101 to 103. This is going to encompass that story that the video game was based on, which is Spider-Man and Venom basically having to team up to take down Carnage, because Carnage is so much more extreme. Because really, Venom's hatred is coupled with Eddie Brock's hatred. Eddie Brock hates Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Venom hates Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
And why does Eddie Brock hate Peter Parker? Do you recall?
Because he he screws up a story, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was the Sin Eater.
Yeah, the Sin Eater story. Thank you. You're awesome.
Yay! Yeah, he got him fired.
He got him fired from the Sin Eater case, so he is very upset.
Yeah,
with him.
Eddie Brock said he exposed the Sin Eater, and Spider-Man actually catches the Sin Eater and exposes him as a fake, gets him fired. Apparently, there's dating going on our chat.
Guys, calm down.
Wow, you guys getting all hot and heavy.
Cute.
So, he got him fired, and then also simultaneously he goes to the church to pray.
Right.
The first time.
The bong, the bell, and then it drips down on him, and it looks terrible in the movie, but it looks great in the comics. Looks pretty good in the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And
so they all hate everybody.
Yes. But Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, he doesn't have an issue with Spider-Man. He has an issue with life itself. He hates people.
He hates everybody.
He's a serial killer, so they have to get together to stop him.
They are literally making a date in our chat right now.
Yeah, they are.
Holler.
I'm going to do the next one, then I want you to do that one.
Hi, Drew.
So what is up, Drew and the TARDIS? So Venom separation anxiety. I actually really like this story.
Really?
1 through 4.
Okay.
It was when Ben Reilly was Spider-Man.
He has now another one. He's Scarlet Spider.
I love Ben Reilly. One romance. Hey, yeah. So Ben Reilly was Spider-Man, and then this is when Eddie Brock basically loses Venom, but he has to then simultaneously take on, I believe it's Scream, Lasher, Phage, Agony. I think it's that crew again that he has to take on.
The bulk of
everybody. So he has to basically take on his children, his grandchildren. No, these are his children. But also having the issues of being separated from the Venom symbiote. So again, it's just a really good. A lot of these are really just kind of good standalone stories because Venom otherwise is just kind of a constant in the Marvel universe. Like when we had our next series, which was interesting.
Venomverse numbers 1 through 5, which I slightly brought up because somebody doesn't know how to spell Maui. Because I brought up
Muai.
So I brought it up that basically the symbiote at this point is basically it's everybody as a version of Venom. So the first one is of course X-23 Laura, and she gets turned into a version of Venom to escape and where she is and then disappears. Literally at the end of each one they disappear somewhere. Right,
they do like a one-off story about like Gwenpool becoming like Gwenom.
Does one. Gwenom. There's a Squirrel Girl does one too.
But then Eddie ends up getting recruited by Cap. Mm-hmm. Yes, by the Cap, and it basically so there's a war of all these Venoms against the. They weren't called anti-venoms. They had another name for them, but they were these little guys who would turn you into an anti-venom. Basically. They would kill the host and they would turn the symbiote into this monster. It was weird. It was piggybacking on the thing everybody is as a Deadpool, which we see a lot of. Yeah, I didn't hate it.
No, it wasn't bad. It was well drawn, but it just was like, okay, so what now?
It was kind of fun because it would be like, it was what if? It was what if Cap was Venom? Oh, what if Devil Dinosaur was Venom?
Oh, that was right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you got a lot of.
That's how I got eaten in D&D.
Yes, it was. You got a lot of cool what ifs.
So soft.
You got a better character now.
I have a beard now, and also side note, I like that Ruru is going. I want to see Apocalypse augment the symbiotes with his techno-organic enhancements and turn them into the Four Horsemen. I
think Carnage would be a great.
That would be just a beast of a story, but such a fantastic what if.
Wait, so it's pestilence,
famine,
death, famine, plague. So Carnage would obviously be death.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Also, serial killers hating people sounds like an understatement.
Yeah. So the last three they're kind of weird ones that happened more recently. Mm-hmm. One of them happened a while back. But Sinister Spider-Man number 1 through 4. So this is a lot of people were kind of confused when the Dark Avengers were a thing. Basically what happened was Norman Osborn convinced the government to give him control of S.H.I.E.L.D., to give him control of the Avengers, and the Avengers were basically kicked out. Norman Osborn. So he, being the Iron Patriot, took over as Iron Man. That's also when you had Moonstone take over as as Miss Marvel. Mm-hmm. You had Bullseye take over as Hawkeye. Like they all became versions, but then you also had that's when Ares, that's before he died, but that was when Ares took over the Thor role. And what you had was Mac Gargan, who we mentioned earlier, formerly the Scorpion. He became Venom, but the reason Spider-Man was always able to beat him was because he didn't hate Spider-Man the way Eddie Brock did. So he was good. He could go toe to toe, but he couldn't beat him because didn't have the passion that Eddie Brock had. But Mac would lose control, and he'd be the giant hulking Venom.
He'd be Hulk Venom?
He'd be Hulk Venom, basically, hulked out Venom. So Osborn would give him a shot that basically shrank him down, so he looked like Spider-Man in the black costume. So everyone thought he was Spider-Man in the black costume. So that's how they created these kind of the Dark Avengers thing. And the Dark Reign, I actually thought it was pretty fun. Then it led into the Siege of Asgard when it was Oklahoma. It was a strange time. It was kind of one of those ones
Why
where...
is it not a strange time?
Yeah, like the stories were cool, but people were just like, okay, where are you going with this? Like Norman Osborn as Iron Man, like it got strange.
Well, and I can totally agree with Rue that they wanted the Osborns in Technicolor to be the Lex Luthors for them.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. He's having him like randomly pop up. Like I think I like the really cool like when it'll just randomly be like, hey, like, you know, like we're talking to the new mayor or something, and they open a door and it's Norman Osborn. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But this idea that making him like a big bad guy to take on like the country or the world, it didn't really make sense because his issue is with Spider-Man. It's always with Spider-Man. I
don't know what's happening in chat anymore, and I'm trying to weed it out.
Wait. So so TL Sharpshooter, he blew the Skrull Queen's head off. That's what it was. That's why they gave it to him. Because what happened was, at the end of Secret Invasion, all the superheroes were facing off with the Skrull Queen, and he had a sniper rifle, and he's the one that took the kill shot. So public opinion of Norman Osborn became just shot through the roof, and that's why he was given control of all these things. And Antic Fire, he was Lou Ferrigno in Black Spider-Man costume, basically, for a short period of time, and then they shrank him back down. So now this is one that his Steves would love, obviously, because you see
exactly.
So what would tell us about Shiver?
Shout out to Shiver Venom number 1 through 5. It has been akin to John Carpenter's The Thing with symbiotes.
Yeah, so it takes place on an Arctic base, and the symbiote gets loose, but the symbiote can actually jump from host to host.
So this is very
It's the Thing.
Yeah, it is the Thing.
Yeah, except
this is totally his thing.
Yeah, it was. Steve's needs to read it. It's a really good one.
We've got things to give him once he figures out what's going on.
Back to the chat. Teal Sharpshooter, part of the reason why he was a global bad guy was that Loki was partially mind controlling him. Yeah, that whole group of evil. It was when Loki was female. Doctor Doom, Norman Osborn, they were like the council. They were the evil Illuminati. Ooh. And last but not least, the three...
This was a big one.
This was a big one. This took a while. And the art was beautiful. I love this. I agree
on that one.
So Venom Space Knight, number 1 through 12.
Which gave us a couple interesting origins.
Yeah.
And a couple spaces where they expanded on why he left the planet.
Yeah. The biggest thing right off the bat is you're wondering, why would they call Venom a Space Knight? Mm-hmm. Here's what happened. For those of you who are unaware...
long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
There was a character created by Hasbro called Rom, the Space Knight.
And he doesn't currently have a run, but he did.
He did, but if you notice, it was just Rom. It was not Rom Space Knight, because a bunch of Hasbro titles, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Rom the Space Knight, what are the mini ones? Microbots. They were all bought by Marvel for a period of time. Then they were returned to Hasbro.
Because they go, hey guys.
Hey, yeah, this is... So, for a period of time, there was basically a legal dispute between Hasbro and Marvel who owned the right to the name Space Knight. And when it lapsed, Marvel immediately was like, hey, here's a book called Venom Space Knight. We own the rights to the Space Knights again. You guys can keep Rom, but his organization, that's us. So we then got a story about Venom being a Space Knight. And basically what they did was the idea was that the Space Knights, who have an organization who have existed for a long time in the cosmic stories of Marvel, they were associated with the Clintar. So the Space Knights had Clintar, so Clintar being the symbiote. So Venom Space Knight 1 through 12 focused on when Flash Thompson left the planet as Agent Venom, but he was sick of working with S.H.I.E.L.D., he was sick of working in the government, so he joined the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is Flash still in this, or is...
Yes, this is when he was Flash.
So
this
Flash
is after
legs.
Agent Venom. Yes.
Flash has his legs.
So this is when he has the mechanical legs.
Yeah. Okay.
So quick backstory, because I can't believe we didn't include this.
Well, we didn't talk about what was up with Flash, or that Eddie had cancer.
And we didn't have... How do we not include... I didn't have Agent Venom in there. Oh, no, wait, no. Rick Remender was Agent Venom.
Yeah, Rick Remender's Venom.
I'm an idiot.
No, you're tagged.
Yeah, I am. So, Flash Thompson being the bully for Peter Parker, but Spider-Man was his hero. And once he found out that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, his world was shattered. But he was basically like, oh, I'm going to do good. I'm going to be a hero. If I can't be a superhero, what can I do? What can a normal person do to be a hero? Join the military.
Yeah, join the military. Go to war.
And Flash Thompson went to war and stepped on an IED. Well, I believe it was just a landmine. Yeah. Because IEDs weren't a thing yet. Well, they were, but
they weren't.
In comics, they weren't. So he stepped on a landmine, lost both his legs at the knee, and went back home and became the stereotype of the returned soldier. He became an alcoholic.
He struggled to deal with the issues that
he
dealt with in
PTSD.
theater.
A lot of not tropes, like the real world issues, but it's like he became like, they piled on everything on him. They're like, you're going to be all the terrible things that can happen to a vet. And then, while he was working for the VFW, he was approached by the government, and they said, hey, we want your skills, and what we're going to do is we have the symbiote in a jar. By AK fire. Jacked up on adrenaline shots, wiped out sick.
Well, teal sharpshooter for the win.
Dig it. I never, all I saw was the flashback. I thought he stepped on a mine. Appreciate that. So they have the symbiote. They took it from Mac Gargan after Siege. They got it back from him, and they said, "Hey, we want you to use the Venom symbiote to carry out Black Ops missions. You want to be our agent, but you're only going to have it for 48 hours at a time, because any longer than that, you bond with it." So that's what they would do. They had a kill switch to kill him if he went too long, and they would take it off him after a period of time. But of course, he quickly became addicted to the fact that he had legs again. He
could feel everything again.
It's really interesting, because it's like, in this universe, someone easily could have built him mechanical legs later on, but they added to the story. I
don't know if Mac is short for another name. That is a good question. We'll find out later and get back to you. Stay tuned for next week.
That's for the show, after the movie. So he's Agent Venom for a while. Eventually, of course, he has the suit for too long and becomes bonded with it. And he decides he wants to leave Earth, and does so by joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. Gets an overhaul on his suit, which I actually really like. It's really cool. And so the Space Knight story follows him being with the Guardians, learning more about himself and the origins of the Clintar, learning that his Clintar is broken, which actually
it helps everybody that's been in contact with them.
They give him
magic legs.
Yeah, they give him legs made out of what the space shuttle is made out of, titanium. And it was interesting. It was weird because it took Venom in a direction that was like, we had never really gone before. Like, it was always like, oh, it's this alien monster on Earth. Now it's an alien monster out in space, meeting other alien monsters out in space.
And fighting alien monsters in space.
And then when it ended...
That was just that.
Yeah, Flash still had Venom, and then all of a sudden we jumped into the next story, which had Lee Price, where all of a sudden Venom was without
no longer with him. Yeah.
So, not 100% sure. I don't think they have explained yet. They still haven't explained yet why Flash didn't have him. They were just like, now Lee has him. Also, Mac is short for MacDonald. MacDonald Gargan, who is he was the Scorpion. One of the versions of the Scorpion.
There's your answer, sharpshooter.
There you go. So,
before we sneak off for this, yes, can I bring up the thing that we didn't get to talk about, which is one of my favorite storylines for Venom?
We were going to get to favorites.
Oh, I don't know. We didn't scroll up, did we?
No, I didn't write it in here. But your favorite version. We're just going to do our favorite versions that we're
cool. So my favorite version, if you guys had the opportunity, hopefully I'm not this old, or I am that old. No. Spider-Man, when it was still on Fox and we were getting the animated, oh my gosh, somebody's making fun of MacDonald Gargan. It sounds like gargling. Like, if you are not reading right.
The dude who wears a weaponized alien is named, yes. He's also the guy who dresses as a scorpion.
Anyway.
Is that what scorpions sound like? Get over here. Wrong scorpion. So your favorite version.
So the Spider-Man cartoon, when it was still on Fox, they had an entire line where they introduced Venom. And it was actually because of Lieutenant John Jameson aka Jonah Jameson's son, who had he was a pilot at one point, and then he became an astronaut.
Right.
Went to space.
Oh yeah.
He went to space.
Right.
I can't remember if he crashed on the moon or what, but he gained.
They found it. They found like a black stone, and they brought it back with them.
Yep.
Because they crashed on the Washington Bridge.
Yep. And then the symbiote got out and took over John, and John became Venom, and he was doing that struggle against being Venom, wanting to eat people, suddenly wanting to kill Spider-Man, but it took like a couple, like, I think 1 or 2 episodes for him to decide he wanted to kill Spider-Man, because Spider-Man, he's like, he is my enemy, he's protecting people.
And that was when Rhino was there too. Rhino was on the bridge.
Yep. So that was one of my favorites because it's nowhere in the comic books, but it was one of my first iterations of Venom. So in seeing that, that's what my Venom was always supposed to be. Like, I understand that he's an anti-hero. I understand. Yep, see? And Manderson's in the same boat with me. That was our first experience.
Yeah.
But it comes down to when we see the newest iteration with Hardy, it's not that it's difficult to swallow. It's just very different from what we're used to.
Right.
And also, the man looks very moist.
Yeah, he does.
What is your favorite Senior Barry?
He's just always wet. So, you're trying to make my hair blow?
I was trying to make sure that you get air. Venom, Queen of the Desert.
I really liked the Agent Venom storyline by Rick Remender. Like, I liked Flash Thompson as Agent Venom. Like, it was fresh, it was new. I really liked the outfit.
I like the outfit.
Yeah, it was so cool because it reminded me heavily of Spawn. And that's, I think, part of the reason I've always liked Venom is because Venom and Spawn, they have a lot. If you take
he's the Spawn of Spawn.
Was it not Nightcrawler, not Night Prowler, Night Rager, or Night whatever it was, which is basically like looked like Spawn, and then Venom is Spawn's like abilities, kind of like, and merge them. So I really like Agent Venom, but then I always go back to the Lethal Protector, Venom, the anti-hero, the Todd McFarlane. Like, that's your bread and butter. That's my Venom. Boy. I really dig it.
Hashtag that my Venom.
Hashtag my Venom. So that about wraps it up.
Drew just got back and he missed all of that, Drew.
But you can go back and watch the episode. That's the beauty of Twitch. That's the beauty of YouTube. That's the beauty of us actually
posting our videos, because I follow people that don't do that.
Where do we do that? We do that on thecapelesscrusaders.com. Hey, there it is. Those are nice little ham-fisted segue. So, that was Venom 101. That was the basics of the Venom character. Some books to check out. We are going to be talking about Venom the movie next week after we see it. I'm kind of just given up. Like, I'm not hopeful.
But I really hope
we'll see what happens.
This isn't a stinker, because if it's a stinker,
we'll see what happens.
It's gonna stink.
We'll talk about it. So,
at length.
For anything related to the Capeless Crusaders, you can go to thecapelesscrusaders.com. That is your #1 hub for anything Crusader related. You can find our old episodes. You can find our sponsors. You can
find our socials, where you could see all the stuff that I did on Saturday when I was meeting people.
Yeah.
And you could be like, oh my gosh, look at that. Steve's posted a weird video about Halloween. And
of course,
that he's a basic dad because he loves him some pumpkin spice latte.
No, that's his personal Instagram. That's not ours. So you can also find our sponsors like Beer Bum Brush, Computer Booter, and the Critical Dice. You can use code Capeless on all those places. Get some discounts. It is awesome. So
we like to give back to the people that hang out in our chat and are like, holy smokes, let's keep talking. Amy, I am trying. I put in my Pro Pass. I put in my app for my Pro Pass for ECC. We will see. But we still got stuff coming around over here. We've got Sinister Creature Con, not this weekend, but next weekend in our area. We've got SatCon. We've got Republic Con.
Isn't the Wizard World coming up?
Wizard World was canceled.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that would be this weekend. They backed out, and I wanted to meet Lou Ferrigno. Of course
they did. I've met Lou Ferrigno.
I haven't.
He's cool.
Also, they had Luke Cage coming through, too.
I know. So, thank you to the chat. Thank you for hanging out. If you liked what you saw, follow, subscribe. Throw your Amazon Prime, your bits. We love it. If you're on YouTube, hello from the past. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're on iTunes or any other podcast app, give us 5 stars. Give us a review. Say you really like what we talk about. If you don't like it, just go away.
Or you could come in and tell us what you'd like to hear, and then we could we
always need ideas. Always need new content.
We're running out of stuff because we know a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we're all Encyclopedia Comica. So,
brains, we've got them.
My name is, of course, David Barry, at Dr. Barry on varying social media platforms. I am joined this evening, my comrade in arms, Amelia Bedelia.
I love being Amelia Bedelia. That would be great. This is Amy. You can find me,
there's the bits.
iJaneURobot on almost all of my social media that matters to you and or me, and I want to wish all of my Valkyries, my former Valkyries, good night, and I love you guys.
Good night and good luck. So, for Anthony Steves, aka the Azorian one, and Manderson, aka son of Mander,
And
Tom, aka Tall, Dark, Not Ugly, on everything.
on everything.
You can check out anything, all of our backlog content at thecablescrusaders.com. So, thank you for hanging out. Venom 101. We will see you next week for Venom the movie for The Capeless Crusaders. Good night.
Good night.